All right, welcome everyone. Hope that you have had a good Friday so far. We are going to work on one thing tonight, and that is a case of Gypsy Queen baseball. But you know what? It's going to take us a while because it is a full case. We normally do the half case, but tonight, yeah, we're going for the full Monty, doing the whole thing. Let's go over a little bit of information here before we get started, and we're probably going to have a team available for sale too. I've got one sitting unpaid, so hang tight and we'll talk about that in a moment as well, unless we get lucky and the money comes in. Okay, so my feedback is automated on eBay. I talk about that mainly because I get asked that question a lot. So that's the deal, guys. Anytime you leave positive feedback for me, you will instantly get positive feedback in return through the wonders of automation. Go automation. And of course, the other thing there is to say thank you. Always appreciate you being here, bidding, breaking, chatting, and hanging out with me, especially tonight. It's going to be a long one. This is what it looks like in the days ahead. So Saturday and Sunday, both off nights. On Monday night, we're going to come back and do a 3-box break of Leaf Autograph Multisport jerseys. Those spots are sold by the first letter of the name on the jersey, which is mostly first letter of the last name. I guess Ichiro would be an exception to that. He only has Ichiro on there, which is in fact his first name. But anyway, and then listed in the football category. They're all listed there. We will also open a full case of Flawless Football on Monday night. On Tuesday night, we're going to open Heritage Baseball, and it will be the back half of a case that we started a couple of nights ago. Wednesday night, we're going to open a 5-box case of TriStar Autograph Football jerseys, and we're going to open Leaf Best of Sports. That is a half-case break. It's a new release that just came out today, and I'm just getting it on the calendar on Wednesday. Those will be loose boxes from a shared case, and the spots are sold by the first letter of the last name. It is, of course, a multi-sport product, and once again, you can find all those spots listed in the football category. That brings us next to your shipping information, and I am projecting this to go out the door hopefully Wednesday. This is going to be a tremendous amount of sorting and shipping work doing the full case at once. So I'm going to shoot for Wednesday. There's a slight possibility it could go a day earlier. There's a slight possibility it could go a day later. But as it stands right now, I believe it will be Wednesday. All the cards ship, so every team is going to have a blue million cards in here, so we don't need to worry about consolation cards. Every team is going to have some. I'm going to bring you back to me for a second and see if we got our little orphan team, if we managed to get it paid, or if we're still sitting with one unpaid, which naturally, of course, we are, because, you know, that's the way things have rolled lately, isn't it? So the Baltimore Orioles are available in here. They are currently sitting unpaid, and it looks like they sold on eBay for $44, but it doesn't do us much good to sell it if they don't bother to pay for it, am I right? So is there anybody who is watching who would like the Baltimore Orioles, or is that going to be just $44 waving goodbye to me tonight? If you want the Orioles, please jump into chat and let me know. Give me an idea of what you're thinking if you're interested in them. So that's the only unpaid team tonight, the Orioles. If anybody at all wants them, if you're interested at all, please jump in there and let me know. You know, I hate when that stuff happens in general, but of course somebody's got to do it on the full case break, right? It's like, why do you bid if you're not going to pay? I don't understand that rationale. Like, is it just fun to cost other people money? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's see here. We are looking at a 10-box case of 2020 Gypsy Queen football. Of course, this is a full case break. This is break number 8. And our eBay end date is the same night we are breaking it, which is Friday night, May the 1st. Team names are there on the left-hand side. Winning bidders are across from each team on the opposite side. And, of course, we do have the one unpaid team in here, the Baltimore Orioles, where somebody bid and then decided, hey, I'm not going to pay you. So there you go. But other than that, everybody else, you're going to see your username across from your team. Oh, yeah, Aaron, I'm sorry, man. $10 versus, it's a full case and it had sold for 40 something on eBay. So, yeah, unfortunately, $10 I mean, it would cost me that to ship it to you practically. So, that unfortunately is not going to work. So, I guess we'll just press onward then, and it will be a $44 lesson learned for me now, won't it? Meanwhile, let's get back to business here. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to see that your background goes out of focus a little bit, and that's intentional. I don't want you to worry about that. We're still going to be able to see everything okay. And Aaron, thank you, by the way, too, for the bid. I mean, I appreciate the offer, man. I just, for $10, honestly, it would, again, it's going to cost me 8 something to mail it. So that would not really probably work out too well on that. But that's just how it goes. I mean, I guess I should be thankful that it wasn't a team that was more than $44 bid, right? And of course, that's one of those things you just wish that there was a way to immediately, if the underbidder were here, which they're probably not, they probably would have been interested. But a lot of people don't watch them live when it's breaks like this because they take this break's going to take a while. So a lot of people are like me on these really long breaks. They have kind of a tendency just to maybe check in here or there, but mostly wait and watch the recap at the end. So that makes it a little more difficult to move the spot as well when you get into this kind of situation. Hi there. Is it Ord Ranger? Let's go with Ord Ranger. That probably makes more sense, doesn't it? We are talking about, I believe it's the Orioles that is unpaid. Let me double check it. Yeah. Baltimore Orioles are the ones that sold, but the bidder did not pay. Okay, kids, so here's the deal. We are looking for 2 on-card autographs per box. We're going to find some other things in here along the way as well. We'll find various parallels, some numbered things. There are high-numbered short prints in here. We may catch some of those as we go through live. Some of them we may not. They tend to be players that are retired, your superstar kind of players, like your Hank Aaron's and Johnny Bench's and guys like that are generally going to be the high number short prints. It's any card that is numbered 301 or higher. Now we've got our box loaders. There will be 3 of these chrome parallels in every box. So the first one there is the Yankees, and that was Gleyber Torres. Our second one out, it's for the Mets, and that is Conforto, and it's numbered to 99. And then we have the Colorado Rockies and Nolan Arenado. So what I'm telling you about these high number short prints is this. If we catch them going through live, of course, I'm going to stop and call it out. If I don't catch it and you see it go through, just hit me up in chat and say, hey, I just saw whatever, Johnny Bench go through. He's a high number short, and I can go back and find him because sometimes you might see it and I might not. But regardless of whether either one of us catch it, it will, of course, ship out. All the cards are shipping in this break. Now, there are other things we can find in here. Logo swap is one, where the Gypsy Queen, the GQ logo in the upper left-hand corner, gets replaced with the lady's face. So that's one of the possibilities. Missing nameplates is another possibility. There's Jackie Robinson Day parallels. There's, I think, like a Military Appreciation Day or a Memorial Day type parallel. The black and white ones are numbered to 50. There'll be other blue ones that are numbered to different things. I don't know what else. There's a bunch of stuff anyway. So as we come across it, we will talk about it. And there are, of course, some cards in here that will have the bazooka backs. Here's the way this works. Anytime we pull anything that is a parallel or a hit of any sort, we're going to flip it over and look at the back to see if it has that bazooka back. In the absence of it being a hit or a parallel, there's no way to know that that is on the back. And if we literally stopped and flipped over every single card in this case break, it would double the amount of time it takes us to do the break. So we don't go through and do it that way. Generally, I just look for them when I sort and ship them out. Now, if that presents a problem for somebody, you let me know in chat and we can do a plan B at the very, very end of the night and just do a quick look through the backs. But it would be at the very end as opposed to stopping and flipping every single card as we go through. All right, so Jay Allen, you have got the Phillies, the Rockies, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks. All right, we're going to see if we can get that handled. And hi, Dylan is here, and all you need is card. Says you can't chat because it makes your stream lag. Oh, that's a bummer, man. Ooh, I got to sneeze, I think. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Ooh, hang on. Oh, man, I'm trying not to. Ooh, I wish I had, though. I backed it up into my head. That was the worst. Whew. All right, Dylan says the bazooka backs are awesome. Yeah, they're actually a subset. It's an entire subset of cards. When they were... it used to be that those were short prints a couple years ago, I guess. And then they changed them to make them an entire subset of cards. So now there is just, they're still not super, super common, but they're also not super, super rare. If that makes sense. Because it's just a kind of a set within a set, if you will. So generally you're going to have, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 5 of those per case, generally speaking. So I'm sure that there will be some in here. There are in every case that we have done. There have been some. So I would expect that this will have some as well. It's just that, again, if we stopped and flipped every single card front and back, we would be here about 4 hours to get this done. And I don't think any of you guys want to hang out with me for 4 hours tonight, do you? But as I said, if it presents a problem for someone, we've got another way, a plan B way that we can do it at the very end of the night, which then those who wanted to hang out could, and those who don't want to hang out don't have to, that kind of deal. So this is what our minis look like. We'll find lots and lots of them before we're done. This first one, of course, is the Cardinals and Paul DeJong. Now, generally speaking, those will not be numbered, but occasionally we may find one that is numbered. And when we do, I will point that out. But that is one, there's a blank nameplate. The minis are ones that we will flip over. Again, any parallel, any kind of anything, we always check those to make sure if they're bazooka back or not. So the Nationals and Howie Kendrick, missing nameplate. That's the first deviation, if you want to call it that. Variation, I guess is a better word, that we have seen so far tonight. But they're right on cue. We're going to come up with one of our autographs. It's numbered to 50, so it's probably going to be the black and white parallel when we flip it over. It's headed to the White Sox and Zach Collins. And indeed, it is our black and white parallel. So that's what that looks like. Jay Allen says you're out of here tonight. You're out of here. You're really tired tonight. Yeah, I don't blame you. It has been one of those weeks, you know. I would, I'm kind of worn out myself. You know how sometimes you just have those weeks where just everything seems to be an effort. This has been one of those weeks. To 250 for the Cubbies. That is a Kyle Schwarber blue parallel. Aaron's looking for the Cardinals. All right. And Dylan, you must have the Nationals because you said missing nameplate first. So that was, is that you? Is that your first one we saw tonight headed to you? It was a Tampa Bay Rays there for the minis. I think this is the stack I had in my hand. I don't guess it matters. We're going to look at all of them anyway, eventually. But I like to kind of jump around between the stacks a little bit. I don't really know why. I just do. Something to occupy my mind with, I guess, right? Jay Allen says it's been one of those years so far. Well, you're not wrong about that. It has been, hasn't it? Telling you, my sister lives in Pennsylvania, and so she called me today to tell me that I guess they're doing things there county by county, whereas here it's just as the whole state, right? We're not breaking, at least not at this point in time, we're not breaking anything out into this county does this and that county does that. But in Pennsylvania, that apparently is what they're doing. And my sister's county and both of the neighboring counties did not get included in phase 1. So they are looking at least another 2 weeks before they'll even be considering them for phase 1, I guess. And so she is really bummed about that. So the Brewers and Keston Hiura. So, of course, you know, even though we're technically in phase 1 here, I mean, we're, you know, it's like the first 3 phases and hardly anything gets completely, well, hardly anything gets done before the end of the month anyway. So I don't think it's that much different. Her situation and ours is just they make it sound different, packaged different, I guess. All right, here is our second autograph out of box number 1. This is Dwight Smith Jr. And there you go, Baltimore Orioles. So I guess that little card is mine, isn't it? Since that's an unpaid team, unless they decide to pay. You know, sometimes people will watch and then they'll say, "Oh, I got a hit, and so now I'll pay." But I don't know if that's the case tonight. I didn't even honestly notice who had the bidding spot. I just saw it was unpaid. Gleyber Torres and a mini for the Yankees. I guess we've going to have one of those deals where sometimes Topps decides to flip the direction of the cards randomly. Some boxes they do that, some they don't. There's a logo swap. You'll see it right there in that upper left-hand corner. And we have Mr. Kikuchi for the Mariners. Yusei Kikuchi is our logo swap tonight. And again, there may be some high number short prints in here that if I didn't catch and you didn't catch, doesn't mean you're not going to get them. Every card ships out of here. So if you see it go through, you're going to get it. That is a tarot card for Trevor Story and the Colorado Rockies. And for those of you who might have missed me saying it earlier, the high number short prints, well, I call them high number short prints because they're always at the top of the checklist. That is a Bo Bichette Tarot for the Blue Jays. And in this particular set, it is cards numbered 301 and higher are technically short prints. They're not really all that short, but still, nonetheless, technically that's what they are. The Astros and George Springer. And they are also generally retired players that are what I'd call your kind of superstar players or real well-known players, highly Clemente and Babe Ruth and Steve Carlton, Johnny Bench type guys. So, oh, look at that. Did I do that? No, that was already loose, wasn't it? Weird. That's all right. It was still in shrink wrap, and we just took it directly out of the Topps case, so we know we're still good. But in a retail store, that would have made me nervous. I'd be like, hey, hey, who's messing with that seal? For the Colorado Rockies, Nolan Arenado to 150. Our other 2 chrome cards for the box loader. One goes to the Pirates and Josh Bell. The other goes to the Indians, and it is Shane Bieber. So it's been crazy around here all week. We've had, of course, all kinds of just weird stuff going on in the neighborhood, it seems like. And now we've got some new company called MetroNet coming through to install whatever they install so that you can technically get cable or telephone service through them instead of the regular cable company. And they have been making the biggest mess in the world. They keep digging all of these trenches in front and down the side and out back, and they're all about 6 feet deep, I would say, and probably 2 or 3 feet wide. And there are so many of them. And the ones out front, they're not too bad because they're mostly on the other side of the sidewalk. But the ones out back, I mean, they've got one of them going within like 2 feet of a tree that I planted when it was about 1 inch tall. And I've been growing that tree for 4 years now. And they got within like 2 feet of it. And I said, oh my gosh. Like if you cut through the roots of that tree and kill that tree, I'm going to be so mad. And they're like, oh, no, we will, you know, we're almost done. We won't. But I mean, they went right up next to it. So if they've killed my tree, I'm going to be so mad. But that's the kind of stuff that's been going on around here. Just weird stuff like that. And all of a sudden, everybody who's got a roofing project or any kind of home project, buddy, they're doing it. Road projects, I mean, it has, I swear to you, it has been noisier here in the last month than I think it's been in the last 2 years. So much for everybody staying home. For the Marlins, we've got a logo swap there, and that is Robert Duggar. Dylan says, what team do I follow? I am a Cincinnati Reds fan. But I watch a lot of teams because I enjoy watching, who is that? Oh, that's a high number short print, Sammy Sosa. Like that looks like something, and in fact, it is Sammy Sosa. But I like watching any game that's a good game. I'm also a little bit of a Dodgers fan because I lived out there for a while, but if you put them side by side and said choose one between the Dodgers and the Reds, it's always going to be the Reds. I mean, I grew up a Reds fan. My dad, my parents, Reds fans. We're a whole family Cincinnati Reds fans. So yeah, that's how that rolls. But again, I like watching a lot of different teams, including like the Blue Jays. They've got such a good young core. There's the Brewers and Keston Hiura, and the Yankees and Gleyber Torres. And there's just a lot of teams I like to watch play. We have got a Gypsy Queen that is numbered, and there's another guy who's fun to watch play, and that is Mr. Acuna for the Atlanta Braves. That's numbered to 250. May as well get our little, our little backwards, upside down facing, whatever we're calling them, cards. And there's Cardinals and Paul DeJong. You said fiber optic. Okay, I should call them a fiber optic company. All right, I couldn't think of the word. So Metronet, the people who have been tearing up everything. Yeah. And then they just kind of throw all of the dirt kind of back down and make a huge mess, and there's mud everywhere. And then they throw out a handful of who knows what kind of grass seed and put a little tiny bit of straw on it, like enough straw that the first car that drives by will blow it off. And that's their idea of putting it back the way they found it. Hilarious. And these little trenches are only about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 feet apart, and they're all of them down. Ooh, you know I like this. Numbered to 99. Also the logo swap down there. That is my man, Aristides Aquino. Nice young rookie for the Cincinnati Reds. Speaking of. So, Cincy, I'm officially a little bit jealous because that's a nice hit. So, congrats on that. For the Reds. Dylan says the Reds have a decent prospect pool right now. Well, yes and no. I mean, we've traded off a number of prospects recently. But until they're ready to spend some money to retain people other than Joey Votto, I think we are going to have a hard way to go. They keep, we get these good, talented players, and then as soon as they're eligible for free agency, we don't retain them because we don't want to pay them. So they go elsewhere, and many of them go on to be quite successful, but not for us. And then we go get these guys like Mike Moustakas, who, I mean, I like Moustakas, that's fine. But listen, I don't want to pay him what we're paying him for what will be a couple of years and at his age and where he fits into things. Austin Meadows and the Tampa Bay Rays. And that is true of a lot of these guys that we bring in on these 1 to 2 year contracts in the last year or two, because we're not in win now mode. We don't have the pitching staff yet to be in win now mode. If we did, if we were Mike Moustakas away from being ready to go to the World Series, then sure, let's pay the guy and get him in here. But we're not. And yet we spend all this money that way, and then we draft and develop decent talent just to let them walk as soon as they're ready to go in free agency. It's very frustrating to me. Numbered 250, Mitch Haniger for the Mariners. So yeah, we have an okay farm system. Was better before we made some deals, I think, recently. But will we hang on to them? That's the question. Another little tarot insert. As you notice, those tend to come grouped together, so we'll probably see a couple more out of this same stack. I would not be surprised if we did. And the Blue Jays. There's a blue border headed to the Toronto Blue Jays to 250. He's a fun young guy to watch too. Kevin Biggio. Dylan, you said the Blue Jays were so close to getting Votto 2 years ago. That would have freed up some cash flow. Yeah, I know he's Canadian. He would have loved it, I'm sure, but... And I like Joey Votto, I do, and I love what he has done for our team over the years, but the guy just doesn't have the same level of production these days, and he costs us an awful lot of money. Max Muncy and the Dodgers, the next out. And I would... Well, I don't know. I don't know that he needs to be an everyday first baseman for us anymore. Sometimes, yes, but every day, I don't know. He's getting a little long in the tooth, but he's given the Reds a lot of loyalty, so they're going to give him some back, which is, you know, you can't argue with that, really. That's kind of the way it should be, I guess. But basically, they're just... I mean, it's a small market team. They just don't have the money to spend that a lot of these other teams spend. And I guess they just spend it in the way that they think is best, obviously. But the fan base is really hard. It's hard, man, to be a fan of the Reds. When you get all these seasons where you lose so many games, it becomes very disheartening after a while. The Phillies and a blue border to 150, Aaron Nola. That, again, we're in our box loaders here. For the White Sox, we have got a little Dylan Cease, and then the Twins come out with Willens. But the one thing I will say, I don't feel like we have a lot of rivalries as a result. And I've talked about that before in breaks. It's like if you just always lose kind of to everybody and you expect to lose, you don't really feel a lot of rivalry towards anybody because, like, well, you're going to lose anyway, no matter who it is. So as a fan, that's how I feel. I feel that's why I'm like, yeah, I can also root for this team and that team and that team and that team and that team as long as they're not playing the Reds, but... I don't have, it's not one of these Yankees, Mets, White Sox, Cubs, Yankees, Red Sox kind of deals where it's like, you can't stand the other team. I don't have any teams like that because, well, like I said, we lose all the time. At least all the time since, I don't know, roughly the 70s. No, I mean, we have had a couple of other good streaks besides just the Big Red Machine era, but it's been a long time since we've had one anyway. But you never know. One of these days. We finally got our first player signed from Japan. Were we the last team in Major League Baseball to sign one? I think we might. And by one, I mean a player from Japan. I cannot remember if we were or not, but I want to say we might have been. I can't think at the moment who all has come. All the many people who have come before. But anyway, I know we've got. Can't even remember the guy's name. Anyway, we got a guy now. we would have seen him by now, but yet we haven't because, well, there's that. There you go. Now see that one, I could tell that one was something different. I don't know why I could tell that one was something different. Slightly different coloring on the front. I thought looked a little darker on the front. Whether it was or not, I don't know, but I felt like we needed to flip it, and we did, and lo and behold, look who it was. Well, what it was, not who it was. It was a bazooka back, obviously, for the Twins. And here is a bookend Zach Collins. So if you've got the White Sox, you've already got a pair of Mr. Collins. One of them was the white parallel. The first one we saw, I think, was the black and white 50, if I remember right. And then you've got that one. Yankees, fortune teller, Aaron Judge. And the Tampa Bay Rays with Brendan McKay. Blue border, numbered to 150. Yeah, this, I'm already dreading sorting this, I tell you. I like breaking it, and the breaking part doesn't bother me, even though it'll take us a couple hours. I'm okay with that. But the sorting, oh, I do dread the sorting. I'm going to be the first to admit that. The sorting's a little gruesome. And here is another little high number short print. Mike Schmidt for the Philadelphia Phillies. So that one will go to Jay Allen. And for those of you who might not have caught it in the listing or heard me talking about it leading up to tonight, everything tonight from this break goes priority mail because the weight would be too high to go first class anyway. For the Cubbies, that's Rizzo and a logo swap. But honestly, that is probably a good thing. Michael Chavis mini. I have had some issues, not just me, I think everybody has had some issues in the last 30 to 45 days of some packages are just really taking a long time to get delivered. Tarot, Yankees. And some packages that might normally get there in 3 or 4 days are taking a couple of weeks. I've had 3 different packages that I thought were lost entirely. As it turned out, one of them is still missing in action, but 2 others actually got delivered, but it was over a month. That was an Ohtani mini. Over 1 month from the time I mailed them. One of them was like 33 days, and the other one was similar to that, 33, 34 days. And the thing about it is, neither one of them had scanned in most of that time. They hadn't scanned in, one of them hadn't scanned in over 3 weeks, and the other one hadn't scanned in like 2.5 or almost 3 weeks. So we were just sure those were gone, like for good, forever. And then by golly, they turned up and got delivered. So now there's only one that's completely gone that we still haven't found, but the other 2 we have. But the moral of the story is everything is taking a lot longer than normal. There's Logan Allen for the Cleveland Indians. And I've also had, I don't normally have damaged packages at all, but we've had 2 damaged packages in this same time frame where all this stuff keeps getting slow delivery. Ricky Henderson, high number, short print, Oakland A's. And one of them was actually Jay Allen's. And it was completely just destroyed. It was in a box and everything. It just destroyed all of it. I don't know if it had gotten run over. I don't know what happened to it. It was a mess. And then this week, someone told me theirs came damaged. They sent me a picture of it. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Mini. And looking at the outside of the envelope, it had been stuck in a machine, I believe, quite severely stuck in a machine. And it looked probably worse than anything I've seen pictures of damage-wise. So I was just afraid to ask, like, oh, you know, what kind of shape did everything arrive in? The cards, not a one of them was damaged. It was a miracle. That was a Mets Pete Alonso tarot. Yeah, couldn't believe it. I mean, most of you have bid with me before, maybe not all of you, but I bubble wrap most things in addition to putting them in a bubble mailer. I usually also have them bubble wrapped inside the bubble mailer, and or I have them in boxes, or, you know, some extra level of protection besides just the bubble mailer most of the time. That is to 250, and the Diamondbacks with the blue border young. So, I mean, like, the bubble wrap was torn. It was a hot mess. You would have looked at it and thought everything in there was destroyed. But she said every card in there turned out to be perfect. Oh, I was shocked. Bregman and the tarot. I was happy. Very happy. Because that package had been through it. But, yeah, I was surprised. Jason, we have not had any Tiger hits yet that I can remember anyway. Now, I wouldn't swear that we haven't had like a tarot or a, you know, box loader or something like that. But we haven't had autograph hits yet for the Tigers anyway. And Dylan Will said, that's crazy. That's a long time. Well, it is, especially to have it happen that many times in such a short time frame. 3 times, and only 2 of them have been found, 2 of the 3. It's the Cincinnati Reds, numbered to 99 with Aquino. I mean, I normally have maybe 1 damaged package a year, maybe. Kansas City Royals and Mondesi. And the Cardinals and Goldschmidt. And, you know, you might have maybe 3, 4, 5 times a year a package take longer than it should to get there. But I haven't had any take over a month before. And that's the first package that has been totally lost, the one that's currently still MIA. And probably, well, about 3 years. Because the last one that was totally, oh no, even that one wasn't totally lost. I remember that now. It was lost for like 3 weeks, but then it did show up, and it was damaged when it did show up. But that one was about 3 years ago. Because that one happened when my grandmother died. I remember that. Because I had told the lady, you know, I'd work with her, I'd help her. I was on my way to my grandmother's funeral, which I was. I was texting her on the way, and I said, you know, here's what I know from the post office. Nothing else I can tell you right now, but I'll get back to you. And I want you to know she left me negative feedback and said I wasn't sympathetic to her situation. Right, okay. But anyway, that's why I remember that one. But that's the last one that, can't even remember the last one that was totally lost other than this current one, so. Gina, what is your odd question? Does anyone know what the case hit snakeskin for Prism Draft, what the print run is? It's super short print, but not numbered. Off the top of my head, I do not. But if you look, have you looked at the Panini blog? There, it's called the Knights Lance. And Knights like Knights of the Round Table, not like Dark and Stormy Night. So if you Google Panini Knights Lance and the name and year of the product, it will probably bring up any related postings that they've made about it. And they may say somewhere in that information, a lot of times they will put in their information about short prints or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know myself offhand, but they might tell you in there. Oh, Gina, you got a package too that was all twisted up and gnarly? I didn't even know that. But your cards were okay too. Good. I'm glad. Glad the cards were all right anyway. So there is a blank nameplate, and it is Sheldon Noose for the Oakland A's. But I don't really know what the difference is, frankly. It's not like the post office has rushed out and hired a bunch of new employees. They're going to have the same people that have been working there before all this happened. So I don't understand why everything is suddenly acting the way it is as far as delivery and getting chewed up in machinery. Alzolay for the Cubbies. But that, of course, one of the great mysteries of life. What do they do with those packages? It's a Max Scherzer mini. Of course, truthfully, there's a Willens mini for the Twins. I worked at a distribution center, postal distribution center, over the holidays a couple of years ago. Well, by now maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. To get extra holiday money, I worked there for about a month, maybe a month and a half. And it is crazy. You would not even believe all the stuff that goes on in there and all the stuff that happens. And truthfully, that's how I developed the way that I package my stuff, and the way why I send it the way I send it is because I saw all of the different things that happen inside a sorting center, a distribution center. And it's a miracle any of us get anything ever. There's Trevor Williams, and it is a logo swap for the Pirates. Yeah, I mean, oh, it's one of those things that you can't unsee it, right? It's like, oh, okay, now I understand how that happened the way that it happened, you know, so. Always interesting when you pull back the curtain, isn't it? Sometimes things you don't want to know, sometimes things you do want to know, but educational nonetheless. And I think they actually have been saying the mail volume is way, way down. The package volume is up, but of course, mailing in bills, cards, letters, advertising, you know, good grief, advertisements that you get in the mail, a Freddie Freeman tarot. All of that stuff, I guess, is way, way down. So they're talking about how their revenue's so low, but they've gotten this big bump in package volume. That was for the Blue Jays and Bichette. So you would think, with the overall volume down, that things would be getting there faster, wouldn't you? That was a tarot for the Yankees that went by. But no such luck. Pete Alonso, the polar bear, and that is Jackie Robinson Day for the Mets. So that's a fun one. Speaking of the Blue Jays, we saw them a second ago with a tarot. Now there is a numbered insert to 150 for Vlad Guerrero Jr. So I'm thinking, I don't know this, no one's confirmed this or anything, but I'm thinking that probably next week at some point, I feel like we will get an updated schedule from Topps and Panini that will maybe let us know when we can start expecting to see new releases again. Acuna and the Braves with a mini. Of course, they did slide out definitive, so we did get that, and we had the one other little interesting something recently. I can't even think what it was. Something from Panini, wasn't it? For the A's, Reggie Jackson high number short print. And Leaf is obviously back up and running, so Leaf is still releasing some new products. But as far as the normal release schedule from Topps and Panini, We haven't seen any updated delivery dates, or I haven't anyway. Bichette Mini, Blue Jays. But I feel like next week we're probably going to start getting a feel for that. Because most of their stuff is printed in Texas for both companies, and Texas is starting to open the state back up. Corey Dickerson for the Phillies. Oh, that'll make Jay Allen happy. Get one for his Philadelphia Phillies. So I think that we can expect that printing plant will probably be firing up again before too long. But of course, who knows how many printing jobs they have. I'm sure they print for more than just Topps and Panini, or I would imagine they would. Bryce Harper to 250 blue border parallel, also the Phillies. So I don't think we'll immediately, like even when they get fired back up, I don't think we're instantly going to see, oh, here's all of our releases that we've missed. I think it'll still take a couple weeks after they get started to get things ramped back up, if you will. But I'm just guessing that we'll see. Look at that one. That corner of that's all smashed up of several of these packs. I hope it doesn't mean the corners of our cards are going to be smashed up. I'm looking, doesn't really, I mean, I guess there is a little smushy on that corner on the box, but hopefully the cards inside will be okay. But I'm thinking probably somewhere around the middle of May, they'll start getting stuff back out. That's just my personal guess. Again, nobody's told me that. Walker Buehler to 150 for the Dodgers. And there's a little box loader for the Phillies with Didi Gregorius, ex-Reds player Didi Gregorius. Eddie Rosario for the Minnesota Twins. Let's open the ones with this. Is this the stack that has the wonky corner or not? I wanted to open that stack first, but oh, this is it. Put it right in the middle. That would make sense. So I can kind of get a feel for whether or not these corners are going to be all gnarly. I mean, I think they're okay. The one on the top couple might have a little something going on, but it didn't look like anything super severe like I was afraid it would, so not too bad then. I guess it won't be too long before baseball is going to decide what their new plan is. Every indication is pointing to those new alignments we talked about the other night. Doing the 3 divisions based on geographics. I could be okay with that. The latest thing I heard, though, is whenever they resume spring training, that they're probably just going to let teams do it at their home ballparks. They're not going to try to have them all go back to Florida or Arizona. They're going to just say, finish it up at home kind of deal. So, which makes sense. But those guys have been off so long, you know the pitchers are going to be rusty. Really rusty. And even if they do pitchers and catchers reporting first, like you would normally do in spring training, I still think they're going to be rusty by the time they play those first few games, because this is a much longer time frame than any of those guys would normally have off. Well, unless they had some kind of surgery or something, then they would obviously have a different situation. I don't know, just for the sake of argument, I was just flipping those that were facing the other way to see if we were missing anything. We weren't. But, you know, I don't know why some are randomly upside down. Max Scherzer for the Nationals. But anyway, we'll all be glad to see whatever comes back, whether they play in 3 geographic divisions or something else. Doesn't matter. I think we all just want to see something, right? Number to 150, Brian Anderson and the Marlins. I'm thinking that I think we'd all watch T-ball at this point, wouldn't we? Gavin Lux. There's another one for the Dodgers. That's a nice one, too. Gavin Lux, your young rookie there. Got an extended look at him last fall, and he looked good. So that's a nice hit. Fortune Teller Mini for the Braves. Yeah, I'm used to this being Derby week. I mean, first week of May is always Kentucky Derby. It's always first Saturday in May. And so, yeah, this should be Derby week for us here. And it's so weird that it's not. It's like, throws my whole perspective off. I have to stop and think, wait, are we really in May? Because we're not doing Derby stuff. That's Byron Buxton with a blank nameplate for the Minnesota Twins. Of course, that's tentatively rescheduled now for Labor Day weekend. That was the Cubbies with the tarot. Gina, you said the delay is no biggie. The Red Sox don't have any starting pitchers anyway. Oh, that's so mean, man. It's so mean. That is Willens with a Fortune Teller Mini. Yeah, well, you know, these pitchers always talk about, I mean, obviously, I'm not a pitcher. I don't know how it impacts you to take time off. You just have to kind of take their word for it, and they always seem to indicate that an extra amount of time off makes them super rusty when they come back and everything. So one would assume it will be a little more difficult for them than perhaps the other players. To 250, the Brewers. I'm sure there is a lot of extra conditioning and different things you have to do as a pitcher. It doesn't seem like it to me because I, don't play ball. It seems to me like you just be like, yeah, you get up there and throw the ball. But we all know it's not quite that simple. It's just like watching from home. You think, oh, yeah, I would be able to hit that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't even see it go by. I'd be swinging after the catcher was already throwing the ball back to the pitcher. That is Vlad Guerrero Sr. So there's two things about this. It's a high number short print. That's number one. The second thing is Montreal Expos, right? That's who he played for. And the former Montreal Expos are the current Washington Nationals. So cards always stay with their franchise. So that means any Expos cards that we pull go to, you got it, the Nationals. Bo Bichette, Fortune Teller Mini. And there's an Acuna. Secretly, I would like to stand in a batter's box and let a professional baseball pitcher throw a pitch to me. Now, I know for a fact I would not be able to hit it. I'm certain of that. But I think it would kind of be fun just to even try it and just see. I don't know why. I'm sure it'd be super embarrassing, and because I would probably swing, like I said, 30 seconds after the pitch went by me. But for whatever reason, I just have always thought that would be fun. Like, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, right up until the time when I did do it, and then I probably wouldn't want to do it. But it sounds like it'd be fun in theory, doesn't it? Dylan Will says Vladdy's daddy is always great. Yeah, Vlad Guerrero Sr., man, I like him. Well, the Nationals are on a bit of a roll, aren't they? Here's Carter Kieboom. How about that? Nice little Kieboom out there for the Nats. Nationals are living right tonight, aren't they? All right, we are at our official halfway point. We have opened 5 boxes, and we have 5 boxes left to go. See, I told you it'd take about 2 hours. I wasn't kidding. 2 hours to break it probably means about, I don't know, I'm going to say probably close to 8 hours. Oh, look at that. Same thing on this one. All those corners, packs are messed up. Probably somewhere close to 8 hours by the time it gets sorted and somewhat ready to ship. And then another probably hour and a half to actually get it in envelopes and shipped. So that's why it's going to be more like Wednesday before it gets out the door. It's going to take a long time. And there's brakes in front of it I got to do too. Another one for the Nationals. To 150, a chrome box loader key boom. And then there's Acuna for the Braves. And last one that we see heads to the New York Yankees. Gary Sanchez. Those are our box loaders. Dylan Will said you would want 8 inches of pads and a full cage helmet on. Well, see, no, here's the thing, though. You know the professional pitcher is not going to hit you because they have exceptional control. Now, I wouldn't want to get up there with somebody who just threw the ball hard and had no idea what they were doing because, yeah, for sure they're going to hit me probably. But, you know, no, Max Scherzer or Greinke or some of these guys, they're not going to intentionally hit you. Well, they could intentionally hit you. I should say they're not going to unintentionally hit you is what I should have said. So I wouldn't be worried about being hit. I mean, I know there's no way I would hit the ball, but I do think it would be interesting just to watch one whiz by at 100 miles an hour. And see just exactly how difficult it is to do what those guys do every day. Well, every day when they're actually playing. I just think it'd be fun. I don't know why I think it'd be fun, but I've always thought that. Of course, I guess you could go technically to I don't think we have any batting cages around here, but I'm sure there are batting cages where you can get an automated, whatever those things, I don't even know what you call those machines, but a machine that would throw it to you automatically. You could probably set it to throw it at 100 miles an hour and be the same thing, I guess. But that you might get hit. Doesn't it seem like you'd be more likely to get hit by one of those machines? It does to me. And the Astros, Yordan Alvarez with a fortune teller mini. But maybe they probably don't turn those batting cage things up that high, though, because they wouldn't want the liability if it did whack you. There is a blank nameplate for Wong and the Giants, San Francisco. Gina, you said you'd be okay unless it was Rob Dibble or the old closer for the Phillies. His nickname was Wild Thing. Yeah, well. There's a logo swap for Matt Chapman and the Oakland A's. Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to go up there if I made a pitcher mad or something, because yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be beamed by one going 100 miles an hour. That would be exceedingly painful, I'm sure. But as long as you're not ticking off the pitcher, it's probably all right. Bobby Bradley, Cleveland Indians autograph, first autograph out of this box, which is what, box 6 are we in? Yeah, I think it's a 6 that we're opening right now. Seems like that anyway. A Vlad Guerrero Jr. Players Weekend. First one of those we've seen. And it's also logo swap. So double the pleasure, double the fun. And yeah, of course, I don't like those Players Weekend uniforms. That's well established. So, but a variation nonetheless, whether we like it or whether we don't. Yelich with a Fortune Teller Mini. You said you hit the batting cages all the time. You'd still be scared to face a pro pitching bone-shattering speeds. Yeah, I guess that's true too. The fastest you've seen in a cage is 85. Can you hit one going 85 miles an hour? Oh, that's impressive, Dylan Will. If you hit it going 85 miles an hour, then you don't have to be worried about hitting a pro pitcher because he doesn't throw that much faster, does he? I mean, not many of those guys are touching 100, at least not on any kind of regular basis. They're up in the 90s maybe, but that's not that much higher than what you're talking about there. Robert and the White Sox with a fortune teller mini. Oh, no way, man. If you can hit it at 85 miles an hour, oh, no, you shouldn't be afraid. You should just be up there going, bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, that's good, man. I don't think I could probably even hit one going 50 miles an hour. I kind of doubt that I could. I don't know. Maybe. I used to have decent hand-eye coordination. I don't know if I still do or not. My poor old bones are awfully creaky these days, unfortunately. For the Mets, it is J.D. Davis, the black and white parallel, numbered 250. But some of those things I think I would want to do when I get there, I can't really do a good job with it. Like my friends and I went to drive race cars at a track in California. And it's a regular thing out there where you can just get in the stock car and go. And I'm thinking, oh, I am so ready to go because I love to drive my own car fast, or really anybody else as far as that goes. So the Cardinals numbered to 250, Paul Goldschmidt. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to be here on this closed track, and this is going to be the greatest thing ever. I'm going to go 8 million miles an hour, like, oh, I can't wait. And then they set you down. There's a tarot insert, Pete Alonso in the Mets. And they start talking about all the liability and how easy it is to crash and how if you crash, you have to pay them for their stock car and you have to pay them for all this other stuff. And then you start thinking, oh boy, maybe I don't really want to go that fast because I don't want to pay like $10,000 for this stock car or whatever the price was. And then we kind of hyped ourselves back up and we're like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to get out there and just fly. This is Ted Williams for the Red Sox. And then, of course, you put on the fire retardant suit and you've got the helmet on and you get in the car and everything is stripped out of it and you have to go in through the window and you're practically bolted into the car and then they're in your ear reminding you again how you have to go through the turns and if you don't do it right, you're going to flip the car and all this kind of stuff. This is Fernando Tatis Jr. for the Padres. So I ended up really not even going as fast as I would go in my own car down the highway, I think. This is the Astros and George Springer. Because there's other people on the track, not just you, but mainly it was that big freaking lecture they gave us about how easy it was to wreck and how if we caught on fire, what we needed to do and all this stuff. And I was like, oh no. So yeah. There is another Max Muncy for the Dodgers. This one is the black and white parallel, numbered 250. So, all I'm thinking is, A, I don't want to pay for your car, and B, I don't want to catch on fire in this suit that 5,000 other people have worn in the last 2 months. Colorado Rockies with the tarot insert. So that's probably how it would be about the pitching, too. I'd probably stand up there, and then about the time he let go of the ball, I'd just drop the bat and run away. Probably. Dylan Will, you said you can't take too many of those before you have to pry your fingers open because you're white-knuckled. And that's barely an infield single in the majors, he says. I don't know. I think hitting an 85-mile-an-hour ball is pretty impressive no matter what you say on that. That's what I think. Gina says, would we rather face Randy Johnson or Finch? You pick Johnson. The rise ball scares the crap out of me. Dylan Will says they just go home. Oh, so you got my approach. Just drop the bat and run. The Nationals and Carter Kieboom. And next up, the Yankees and DJ LeMahieu to 150. And then we've got a little action for the Padres with Manny Machado. So, yeah, I don't know. It's easy to think about it sitting here, how I would love to do it, but you're probably right. That is probably exactly what I'd do. Drop the bat, run away screaming with my hair on fire. But hey, it all sounds good in theory, so we have to actually do it. That's the way I look at it anyway. I guess that's why they pay those guys $1 bazillion. Well, that and the fact that we all watch them play the game, so the television revenue is outrageous. So in a way, we sort of pay them by virtue of watching the games. I guess will they have an all-star game this year? Do you think? I mean, assuming, of course, that the season is started back prior to that, I can't imagine that they would stop that soon to have an all-star break if they're even started again by then. You would think they would be, but you never know. I hadn't even thought about that. I did see where the NBA is going to push back the draft, though, which I kind of think we all knew that was coming. But I think they first had said back into like August or something, and then I thought I saw a headline, and I didn't have time to click into it and see any details, but I thought I saw a headline go by earlier this evening or late this afternoon that said that it's now that they've pushed it back indefinitely, not really even given a time frame yet for that for the NBA draft, I mean. Jack Flaherty to 250 for the Cardinals. I mean, we all obviously already know Major League Baseball is making changes to their draft. It's going to be, I think, still limited to 5 rounds is the last that I heard. And it's the Rays, Brendan McKay. And, of course, all the players, all the rookies that are drafted have to agree to a completely different pay structure than they would have otherwise had. Most of their incoming bonus money and such is going to be deferred. The largest part of it is. A.J. Puck to 250 for the A's. But dropping down to a 5-round draft, I mean, it's better than no draft, which they were talking about at one point. So I'm thrilled to have one, even if it is only 5 rounds. But I think that is really going to mess up a lot of kids. Says Mike Trout for the Angels. And, I mean, what's it going to do to the collegiate teams, too? So you might suddenly have guys staying that had planned on going, and then you've already got other guys coming in to take their spots, and then you run into all kinds of issues. Not to mention any kid that's graduated and doesn't have any more eligibility. And I mean, of course, there's nothing to stop a team from signing them outside of the draft, I guess, in theory. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a mess. It's going to be a hot mess. Taylor Ward for the Angels comes out next. And then here's the other thing. Think about some of the draft products that come out. Like Bowman Draft, for instance. Dylan Cease and the White Sox. How are you going to put out... I mean, yeah, you can put out Bowman Draft when there's only 5 rounds, but then you're talking about 150 players. That's it. And that is a huge print run of that product. I mean, you would be getting the same players' autographs over and over and over and over. And I would think it would somewhat devalue them if that were the case. So I don't think they can do it quite like that. Ramirez in a Players Weekend uniform for the Marlins. So I'm wondering if they are either going to severely limit the print run or if they're going to... I don't think they can just not do the product, because I think that would violate their contract with Major League Baseball. So I don't know how they're going to do stuff like that. Blank nameplate, Cardinals, Tommy Edman. I mean, they have already stated, or at least I shouldn't say they stated, I can tell you my distributor stated that for Bowman, regular Bowman, which would have already been out last month, Alex Young for the Diamondbacks with an autograph. I think that's Jay Allen's too, isn't it? I think he's got the D-backs too. That they told them their Bowman numbers are cut in half from what they were last year. And that's regular Bowman, where they can choose from players from any year, obviously. Anybody that's in the minor league system could, and this year's rookies, any of those could be in Bowman. A logo swap, also the Diamondbacks, David Peralta. So then that really makes me wonder what might happen with Bowman draft. Assuming that cut hits all the distributors and it wasn't just, for some reason, the one getting cut. I don't know why it would be just one and not the others, but you never know, I guess. That was a Tarot Aaron Judge for the Yankees. Gina said, watch YouTube videos of Finch pitching to Hall of Fame players. The only one who had any success was Wade Boggs, and A-Rod struck out on 3 pitches. Yeah. I mean, there are some of those guys that are absolutely throwing fire. There's no other way to say it. It's Mike Trout and the Angels with the tarot insert. I mean, some of those definitely should have had a little trail of flames behind them. Freddie Freeman and the Atlanta Braves. It's fun to go back and watch some of the old and older players when you can see some of their highlight clips and stuff. It's fun to go back and watch a lot of that stuff. Game's so different than it was back in the day, if you will. Sandy Koufax. There is a high number short print for the Dodgers. But YouTube, can you even imagine? Nick Senzel. Do you even remember what life was like before YouTube? I mean, some of you may not. If you're of a certain age, you're like, wait, what? There was a time before YouTube? But if you're of another age, then yeah, we remember when there was no YouTube. We remember when there was barely any internet. That wasn't quite a thing too much. You were just some geek in college writing in some COBOL or whatever that language was called, doing stuff that none of the rest of us had any idea what you were talking about. Yeah. But yes, it's hard to think about life without YouTube these days, isn't it? And you can find anything on there. It doesn't matter how weird it is, you can find it on YouTube. For the Phillies, JT Realmuto, it is numbered to 99. Then the Phillies have Aaron Nola. And the Yankees, our last box loader there with DJ LeMahieu. Like, for example, there was a restaurant chain, and now I've already forgotten what restaurant chain it was again. Anyway, it was several years ago, and they had this really weird advertisement. This has probably been 15, 20 years ago, a long time ago. And they were these weird little kind of cut out, funky looking characters, and they sang a strange little song about we like the moon and it's made of cheese, except it was in this voice like, we like the moon, it's made of cheese. And it was like that. And it was these weird little characters for some advertisement. And one of my friends and I, one of my really good friends and I, we used to love that little song, and we would sing it all the time and torture our other friends. And of course, I had forgotten it, and she had forgotten it, and something made us think of it back a few months ago. And we were trying to then think of all the words to that weird little song. And of course, we couldn't remember the place that advertised it. We couldn't remember the name of any of it, the name of the little song, nothing. So we just started getting on YouTube and typing in these various phrases. And I want you to know we found that thing. I still don't remember all the words or anything, but my friend does. And she can sing it just like those weird little characters sang it. But it took us probably, I don't know, 20 minutes or so to find it. But even something as obscure as that was on YouTube. So that's what I'm telling you. It's all there. Anything you ever want, you can find on there somewhere. Okay, we are in, what box are we in? This is box 8 that we're in right now. For the Padres, it is Morejon to 150, San Diego. John Means, Baltimore Orioles. Oh, a Players' Day weekend that's the black uniform. Ho-ho, the plot thickens. I think all the ones that I have seen of Players' Weekend uniforms are white. It's unusual to see the black version. Ooh, hoo-hoo, Blue Jays just hit the jackpot. There it is, kids. That is your man, Bo Bichette. That's exactly what you wanted if you have Toronto. So we just made your night a little happier if you got the Blue Jays. So nice hit for Toronto. Who is that? Oh, that's Bryce Harper. I don't know who I thought that was, but I didn't. Looking at it upside down, I'm like, wait a minute, who is that? Should have recognized him even upside down, right? But I didn't. A mini, because I felt it on the back, Shohei Ohtani, and while we're at it, a mini Aaron Judge. And there is a mini Michael Chavis for the Red Sox. So I guess we have no London game this year. Seeing the Red Sox and reminded me of that game last year. That high-scoring, ridiculous, crazy game. Vlad Guerrero Jr. mini Blue Jays. Between the Red Sox and the Yankees in London. I'm kind of okay with playing the London games. It doesn't really make a difference to me one way or the other. I know some people were very happy about it, and other people seem to be kind of opposed to it. It didn't really bother me one way or the other. Jake Arrieta, that is numbered to 50, black and white parallel, Philadelphia Phillies. Of course, they're trying to take all of these sports a little more internationally. You know, the NFL playing the games in Mexico and played some games, I think, or have some schedule to be playing in Europe as well, here and there. And there's our first numbered mini. It's to 250 Willens for the Twins. So they're trying to grow their international audiences. Max Scherzer with the logo swap for the Nationals, which I think is okay. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is if you expect these teams, I'm not talking about in today's environment, I'm just saying in general, expecting them to travel overseas and play and then not have a little bit of a break and come back and then stay on their regular schedule. I think that can be a little hard on them. By the time you factor in the travel and all the other stuff, I do think they should get a little extended break if they are going to have to do that. Extra week off or do it before a bye week or whatever. The Dodgers and Jackie Robinson. High number short print. I didn't say that, but you probably figured that out, didn't you? I'm going to go with yes. Yes, you did. I already know that. Here comes Mr. Aaron Savali. The Indians doing all right tonight. Second or third hit for the Indians. Second for sure. Maybe the third. I don't know. Maybe the third. Oh, I think the other way was the regular right way, wasn't it? Yeah, I flipped that at the wrong time, I do believe. Marte, Pirates, Tarot. So we will have Leaf Best of Sports to open next week. That is a new product. It actually came out today, but because I didn't have a lot of confidence as to whether or not it would arrive on release date, because sometimes it does, and there's a blank nameplate, Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks. I mean, most of the time it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And that last new release we had from Topps for Definitive, that was a tarot for the Astros with Verlander. It didn't actually even get to the distributor on time, and then I had to foot the bill for overnight shipping to get it here on time for the breaks. Devers and the Red Sox. And I got lucky that that was a small case, you know, not large in dimension and not heavy in weight. So it didn't cost me an arm and a leg, but if it had been a bigger, heavier case, I mean, that might have been $75-80 just to overnight it. So, for that reason, because things, as they are starting to trickle back out, are kind of coming in funky, I decided not to list it until next week. But play it on the safe side. And then, of course, naturally, you know what happened? Oh, yeah, of course, it showed up. It showed up here on time today, so. But I had already scheduled the break for next week, so you know how that goes. This one should be numbered to 50 because it is our gold parallel. And it is Mr. Jose Altuve. We've got the Cincinnati Reds, my little Reds, Nick Senzel. And Thor for the Mets. Oh, what is my iPad doing? Oh, man. There we go. Okay, now I think I got it back. Sometimes it acts weird. I don't know what it does. Sometimes it just, I think Siri takes control of it and just does stuff to mess with me. Not really. But you see, I said her name, right? And she didn't wake up. But there are other times I will have the iPad, I don't know, like multitasking, right? Kind of half reading an article, half watching television. And someone will say something on television that doesn't sound at all like her name. And she'll wake up and want to do something. So I think my Siri is possessed. That's what I think. Well, we are making a dent in it. I mean, this is box number 9 of 10 that's coming out of the wrappers. So we are making some progress. The longest part's behind us anyway. We're in the home stretch. I'll have to decide after I sort it if I want the next one to be another whole case or if we're going to go back to half case. Yeah, I don't know. I'll decide that after I sort, I think. And it might also depend on what they tell us in regard to when we can expect new product. Because if they tell us, oh, it's going to be another 2 or 3 weeks, well, yeah, then we'd have to do half cases to kind of spread out what we have. Because I don't have a ton of stuff left. I mean, I have some stuff left, but not a ton. Trevor Bauer for the Indians on this one. And that is the Gypsy Queen logo swap. I would have expected him to be in a Reds uniform, but they didn't do that, did they? Messed with us. Dylan Wills said, do you think it's gone by pretty fast? Well, that's good then. It means we've been keeping a decent pace. Yordan Alvarez mini. Yeah, I try not to go so fast that you can't see what's coming out, but not so slowly that you're like, oh my gosh, I have turned to stone while watching this break. For the Orioles, Tom Eshelman, numbered to 250 for the unpaid Baltimore Orioles. Oh, wait a minute. Logo swap on... Oh, which one? Which one? Hang on. Which one did you tell me? Oh, on the Trevor Bauer. Yeah, it's definitely the logo swap. Oh, you're right. I did miss the Jackie Robinson Day on the back. You're right. Sorry about that. It was the Trevor Bauer. So, yeah, we caught the logo swap, but I missed the Jackie Robinson Day. Good eye, Jason. I like it. I like it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. See, you know, I'm thinking we're just looking for one variation, and when I see the logo swap, I don't even look at the numbers. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's our variation logo swap. And I know better than that. But 9 boxes in, I kind of idled on neutral, I think, didn't I? Pujols to 150 for the Angels with the blue border parallel. But see, that's why I depend on you guys to help be my eagle eyes and catch that stuff that I don't always see. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. Diaz. Miami Marlins get one. Miami. Marlins don't pull a ton in here. So, yeah, that's a good one if you've got Miami, because I think they sold really inexpensively. So you can probably cover yourself with the one hit if you've got Miami tonight. Queen of Diamond cards. Hey yourself. What's going on, Queen of Diamond cards? Robert, White Sox. Still hanging with us anyway. I know you said chatting makes your feed lag. Tatis, Fortune Teller Mini. But I'm glad to know you're still here. We haven't lulled you off to sleep yet anyway, hopefully. Mookie Betts, that is a logo swap for the Red Sox. This case has been, about like all the others. I mean, other than there's a nice Bo Bichette in there. There is a nice Bo Bichette. And Queen of Diamond cards, that is not you that told me earlier that your feed was lagging. That's all you need is cards. I know that. But you know what? I saw the cards on the end. And as I said, here in box 9, my brain's idled slightly. It's just, cruising right in that neutral area. That is Yelich for the Brewers on a mini. And I should have had a Red Bull before I started, and then I wouldn't be stuck, kind of idling in neutral on my brain power. And I would have remembered that. But yeah, I just saw the cards on the end, and it's not you. It's all I need is cards that said that earlier. So sorry about that. So yes, the Bichette is, we've had some good hits in here as far as parallels and things like that. Some nice stuff. But I'd say autograph-wise, Bichette right now is the man. But there are several in there for the Dodgers, which you have, don't you? Do you have the Dodgers tonight? I think you do. I know you have several teams. I think the Dodgers is one of yours. All unique cards says it makes you lag too. I meant to say you, and I just messed up and said Queen of Diamond cards. I know. I did catch it though. I did catch that I did that, but it took me a minute to process through my head. Oh yeah, wait, no, that's not right. But yes, I could benefit from Red Bull right now. I will tell you that straight up. Charlie Morton, Tampa Bay Rays, and it happens to be the blue parallel, so numbered 299. A Bryce Harper Tarot. And for the Dodgers, a little Walker Buehler. Buehler. Queen of Diamond cards, you said, how is the other half of case? Oh, this is a full case. Yeah, no, so there is no other half of this one. We're doing the full Monty 10 box tonight. So it's all one big happy case. And this is box number 10, as a matter of fact. 10 of 10. Woohoo! Last box mojo is upon us. Yeah, so we haven't seen, I mean, there have been a couple for the Dodgers. There have been a couple for the Indians. Actually, there were a couple for the White Sox. So I guess we still have seen some team grouping to a certain extent. But it certainly hasn't been like the case where we had whatever that came out of there, like 6 Dodgers or something out of a half case. It hasn't been like that. Jose Barrios for the Minnesota Twins. We've got another one numbered to 50. This one goes to the White Sox. Jose Abreu. And Matt Chapman is our last that is box loader tonight. Speaking of, let me real quickly sort out the numbered ones of those because we're going to need that for a minute. Or in a minute when we recap, so I just want to do it real quickly since we pulled that one to 50. It was easier to do it right then. So I didn't forget, in other words. Oh, yeah, that is true. You have had some good stuff for the Nationals, too. See, I forget. I forget while we're still within the break what all has come out. But, yeah, you did have the short print Vlad Guerrero Sr., and you had the Keyboom autograph, and a couple other things, too, didn't you, for the Nats? They've done all right tonight. Oh, Queen of Diamond cards, you mean the one from the other day? Oh, gosh, no. Yeah, I have no idea what came out of that. Absolutely none. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. That one has been shipped out. When did that one even go out? I don't know. A while ago, that shipped out. And I have sorted and shipped a few other things since then. So, there is no way I remember what came out of that. I'm struggling to remember what we saw 2 hours ago out of this. Or an hour and a half ago out of this, more specifically. So I don't know, I'm sorry. Yeah, for whatever reason, I never retain much specific to a certain break unless it's a really big hit. Otherwise, I just kind of generically remember like, oh yeah, we recently hit a Ken Griffey Jr., but I wouldn't be able to tell you from when, where, or what most of the time. I know that's bad, but truly I do see so many cards on any given day and any given week. Between the breaking and then the sorting and then the shipping and all that stuff, yeah, it gets crazy sometimes. All right, so last box mojo is upon us. Let's hope we find some fire. I see a blank nameplate, and that is for the Mariners. I wonder if they're still going to do the chrome edition of this. That's a blue parallel for the Nationals. Speaking of the Nationals, to 150 with Thames. Because you know they announced at the first of the year at the Industry Summit that they were going to, that's before all this other stuff happened clearly, but they were going to have a chrome version of Gypsy Queen and an all-chrome release of Allen and Ginter as two different freestanding products. The chrome versions would have been. Yastrzemski, Red Sox, high number short print. And I wonder if they'll still release those now that their schedule's so backed up. Mike Trout, Fortune Teller Mini, and the White Sox, Dylan Cease. Because we hadn't done any pre-ordering for either of those things yet. They hadn't been solicited yet. So I guess it's possible they ditch them, or maybe they'll keep them. I don't know. But Gypsy Queen's one of my favorite sets. I look forward every year to Gypsy Queen, so I wouldn't mind one little bit to have this in a chrome parallel. Queen of Diamonds, you said Gypsy and Allen and Ginter are your favorites. Most folks don't go for the base, but they are unique sets. Yeah, I really do like Gypsy Queen. It's one of my favorites. I like Heritage a lot too, and again, unfortunately, it's a really base-heavy set, but I do like it. Not as much as I like Gypsy Queen, but I do like it. Allen and Ginter, I have no problem with Ginter. I like it, but I know a lot of people do not like it. Gina's one who doesn't like it. If she's still on here, she would tell you that. I don't know if she's still on here with us tonight right now or not. But she can't stand it because it has all the other inserts and things in it that are not baseball related. They drive her crazy. That is the Cubbies with a tarot for Chris Bryant. And of course, there are people who collect just those subsets from Allen and Ginter that don't even collect the baseball cards, period. But they collect those various non-baseball related inserts that are in Allen and Ginter. So it's a very polarizing set, I think. Mazzara to 150. That's for the White Sox. So yeah, Ginter is probably the most unique of the baseball releases, I guess is the good way to say it. Something like that. You said either you love it or you hate it with Allen and Ginter. Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's plenty of people that, the ones that don't like it, that's exactly why they don't like it. I can't stand there's, whatever, there's so many weird subsets in there every single year. Ooh, that's a nice little Yordan Alvarez rookie. Just because we stopped on it, I thought I'd look and see if it was the bazooka back, just because we happened to kind of cut the deck there. Would have been nice if it was, but it wasn't. Kevin Newman for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we are closing in on the end of it tonight. Of course, we are going to do some recapping after we look through the rest of these cards. And then after we do the recapping, I will one more time put up spreadsheet information that will give you the 411 on your potential shipping dates. And then we will also take a little peek at what we're going to be breaking in the days ahead. So all that stuff coming up shortly. Michael Baez is our last autograph hit of the night, headed to the Padres with Michael Baez. And there's another mini. That's for my little Cincinnati Reds with Nick Senzel. And there's another one, the Tampa Bay Rays and Brendan McKay. And there you go. We made it. We made it through all 10 boxes. Woohoo! I know. You're happy, right? I'm happy. We're all happy. Yay. Well, unless you didn't pull the cards you want, and then you're like, no, I'm not happy. But hopefully everybody at least got something of some sort. Well, everybody definitely got something of some sort, but you know what I mean, of a parallel or a numbered card or whatever. So here's what we're going to recap. Our numbered cards, our parallels, our autographs, and our box loaders. Now, let me please remind you that there may be other short print, high number short prints that we did not catch going through live, or there could even be logo swap or missing nameplate that I didn't catch, or you guys didn't see, that none of us saw when they went through, that are in there. Now, of course, if it's in there, you're going to get it. All the cards ship out of here. And no doubt there are some in there that have a bazooka back as well. We found one live. There's generally no way to tell from the front what they are. So generally speaking, we're not going to find those until we sort. But if you have one that belongs to you, obviously I'm going to send it to you. All the cards ship. To 99, that one's for the Mets. These are our box loader chrome parallels. To 150 for the Rockies. The Phillies to 150. The Cincinnati Reds to 99. The Nationals 150. The Phillies to 99. The Yankees to 150. The Astros to 50. And the White Sox to 50. Now, the next little stack here, none of these are numbered. So these, again, are our chrome parallel box loaders, but since they are not numbered, we're just going to kind of, you know, bust a move on through them here. But that does give you one more quick little look at it. All you need is cards said you're happy, good. So it went well for you. All right, well, we like that. Dylan Will, Sapphire is amazing. You said top Sapphire are amazing, but not when you are at a baller, LOL. They look amazing though. You know what? I had some Sapphire a couple of years ago, and I didn't get enough of it, and I ended up never breaking it because it was such an odd lot that I got, and I ended up selling them as sealed boxes back, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. They sat on this table forever till I finally sold them to somebody. To 150, that one is the White Sox. The Nationals to 150. The Angels 150. The Orioles to 250. The Padres to 150. The Cardinals to 250. The Cardinals again to 250. The Brewers 250. Marlins 150. That is actually a chrome one, and I put him in the wrong stack. Sorry, that is to 150 for the Dodgers. Occasionally I stack them in the wrong spot. It's to 250 for the Phillies. The Blue Jays to 150. The Diamondbacks to 250. Tampa Bay Rays to 150. The Blue Jays to 250, and the Cubbies to 250. All right, let's look at our little stack here of, we're going to call these our known short prints and variations. Again, maybe more over there in that giant stack of cards. If it's in there, you're going to get it. If it belongs to you. You're not going to get it if it doesn't belong to you. Well, we hope anyway, right? Carl Yastrzemski and the Red Sox. That's a high number short print. Missing nameplate for the Mariners. A logo swap for the Red Sox. And this is the logo swap. And you had the eagle eye there and caught it as also Jackie Robinson Day. Very nice. And that one is Trevor Bauer, but as an Indian. So it went to the Indians. Zach Gallen Diamondbacks is a blank nameplate. High number short print. Jackie Robinson Dodgers. Logo swap for the Nationals. A numbered mini to 250. He should have been in the numbered stack. See, sometimes they go in the wrong spot. And that is Willens for the Twins. Black and white to 50. Arrieta and the Phillies. The Baltimore Orioles with a Players Weekend. and a high number short print Koufax for the Dodgers, logo swap for the Diamondbacks, blank nameplate for the Cardinals, Players Weekend for the Marlins, and this should have been in the numbered stack too, to 250 for the Oakland A's. That's A.J. Puck. And a high number short print Ted Williams, Red Sox, numbered 250, the black and white parallel J.D. Davis. That is a Players Weekend and a logo swap, Vlad Guerrero Jr. for the Blue Jays. Logo swap for the A's and Matt Chapman. Blank nameplate, San Francisco Giants, high number short print Expos. The Expos of old are the Washington Nationals of today, so that goes to the Nats. A blank nameplate for the Twins, high number short for the A's. And this little Pete Alonso there for the Mets also happens to be a Jackie Robinson day. The Pirates with the logo swap. A blank nameplate for the A's. And there is a high number short print for the A's. Logo swap Cubbies. And logo swap for the Phillies. The Twins have, what's going on with this with the Twins? Oh, that's the bazooka back one that we found. See, right? You look at them from the front and you're like, wait, what? Yeah, that's what. The Mariners, numbered 250, the black and white parallel. We had a numbered tarot card. It is to 250, Acuna and the Braves. High number short, Sammy Sosa for the Cubbies. Logo swap, the Marlins. Logo swap, the Mariners, and a blank nameplate, Howie Kendrick, for the Nationals. Which brings us to our little stack of autographs. It's not so little, though. It's a decent amount out of a full case. San Diego Padres and Baez. Newman for the Pirates. This one is numbered. It is Charlie Morton to 99 for the Tampa Bay Rays. Diaz, the Marlins. And there's Savali for the Indians. There's that sweet little Bo Bichette hit. Nice, right? For the Blue Jays. I like it. The Diamondbacks and Young. Ward for the Angels. Muncy, black and white, numbered to 50, the Dodgers. Followed by Bobby Bradley. That's the second hit for the Indians. Carter Kieboom and the Nationals. Another hit for the Dodgers with Gavin Lux. The Phillies hit Corey Dickerson. The Cubbies with Alzolay. And then Logan Allen. That's the third hit for the Indians, right? I think it was. Zach Collins for the White Sox. There's another Max Muncy for the Dodgers. That one not numbered, of course. My man Aristides Aquino for the Cincinnati Reds, and he's also got the logo swap down there at the bottom and numbered to 99. Then our unpaid Baltimore Orioles have a Dwight Smith Jr., and there's another Zach Collins. This is the black and white parallel, though, numbered 250. Okay, there's the break. There's the recap. As promised, I'm going to shoot a little spreadsheet information your way right now, and it's going to have some shipping dates and other stuff. So here's the deal, kids. I am expecting this to get out the door and on the way approximately Wednesday. As I mentioned, this is going to be a very long process to get this sorted and ready to ship. So if it went a day later, well, that could happen. If it went a day earlier, I'd be shocked, but that could happen too. So that is why it says plus or minus a day. But as it stands right now, thinking Wednesday is probably when I manage to get this out the door. We do not worry about consolation cards in here because, well, we just opened about 8 bazillion cards. So every team is definitely going to have cards coming their way. So this is what it looks like in the days ahead. This is how it is gonna this stuff is already listed on eBay, and this is how we will be breaking it over the next few days. So both Saturday and Sunday are off nights. On Monday night, it is a 3-box break of Leaf autographed multi-sport jerseys. Thought I was out of those, found a few more. So we have been doing 2-box breaks of it. This will be a 3-box break. It is sold as first letter of the name on the jersey. They are all listed in the football category. So, for instance, Kobe Bryant would be a B, a Hank Aaron would be A, etc. Flawless Football by the full case will round out Monday night. On Tuesday night, we're going to break Heritage Baseball. That is the back half of a case that we started a couple of nights ago. On Wednesday night, it will be a 5-box full case break of TriStar autographed football jerseys, the Game Day Greats football jerseys. And then we're going to do a 5-box half case break of Leaf Vesta Sports, new product that just came out today. Those are loose boxes from a shared case. Spots are sold by the first letter of the last name. It is a multi-sport product. And finally, there is a separate bidding category for any redemptions. Because if we did find a redemption in there, it would most likely be for some kind of signed memorabilia. Could also be, sometimes they'll do them for a box of cards or a pack of cards that are rare, but usually it's, if you pull a redemption, it's signed memorabilia because that's a buyback product, so that's how that works. And of course, we've already looked at that, so yeah, I think we're actually done for tonight. Can you believe? Well, we clocked in slightly under 2 hours, not too shabby. So, hey, thank you everyone for hanging out with me tonight during this break. I always appreciate you being here, bidding, breaking, and chatting with me. And of course, I am off for the next couple of nights, but I will be back at it on Monday night. And I hope that I will see you again then. But if not then, do come back and see me sometime soon. I always like having the company. So in the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, wear your mask, etc. And we'll see you on Monday. Thanks again. Bye now.